Welcome to lesson 6 of our interactive notes. Okay, lesson 6, rounding using number line. So here we're on pages 15 and 16. Let's turn to page 15. It's hard to see this heading, but it is rounding using number line. Our content objective, 4.NBT.A.3, I can round large whole numbers to any place. Our language objective, I can use place value, number lines, and benchmark numbers to find the nearest round number. Social objective, I can work with others to create number lines to prove which round number is closest to the given number. So here, first we have to talk about place. A digit position within a number. So if I'm saying I'm rounding a number to the hundreds place, it's whatever numbers are in the hundreds. And we don't worry about the places after, because the nearest hundred would be what we're talking about. So is it closer to 700 or 800? If we're talking about the tens place, we're looking at what up to that. Would it be 710 or 700 or just 700? Which one is it closer to? So we're looking at the actual place that it's closest to. Rounding, the process of finding the nearest requested number based on place value. So we want to find the closest number there. So the closest 100, the closest 10. So the number may be hard to see inside this box, but it is 583, I believe. And the nearest 100, well, that's closer to 600 than it is to 500. It's closer to 580 than it is to 590. Benchmark numbers. A number or amount used as a reference that helps to estimate the size of other numbers or amounts without counting them. So example of benchmark numbers, 25, 50, 75, 100. They're used to help us compare. So we're going to be using these number lines to help with our rounding. These are our steps. Find the given place values, round numbers above and below the given number. Find the midpoint. This is going to be our benchmark number to use as a benchmark. So mid is exactly half. Mid means half. So our halfway mark or our midpoint. Place the number on the number line and see which round number it is nearest. Okay, and we have a little star here, asterisk. If the number is right on the midpoint, then go up to the next round number. If it's right in the middle, it's actually equally close to both sides. So we just go ahead and round up. So we're looking at this number here, and we're rounding to the nearest 10. So let's find our tens place. And our first step is to find the given place values, round numbers above and below the given number. Now they're called round numbers because they end with zeros, which are round numbers. So below this 7, below 73 would be 70. So down here we would put 5,670. Now the next number that could go in the tens place up here would be 5,680. Those are our closest round numbers. That means they end in a 0. Tens place. So we have 70 below and 80 above. Now our midpoint. So about halfway. What is half of 10? Half of 10 is 5. So halfway between these two numbers is 5,680. 5,675. That's our benchmark number. So if it's on this side of the number, it's going to be closer to this one. If it's on this side of the number, it's going to be closer to this one. So when we set up our number line, it helps us visualize which round number is it closer to. Well, let's see. 5,673 is between this 70 and 75. So it'd be somewhere about here that the number would be. Well, which side is it closer to? Is it closer to 5,670 or is it closer to 5,680? Well, it's definitely closer to 5,670. That is the nearest 10. It's only 3 away from this one. It's 7 away from this one. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're looking at the hundreds place. So let's find our hundreds place. So the nearest hundreds, well, below that would be 82,900, another 1,000. So here we get 82,900, and then if we add 100 more, we get 83,000. So those are our two endpoints of this that we're going to compare. Now we need to find our midpoint for our benchmark. And we think, what is half of 100? Half of 100 is 50. So halfway between these two would be 82,950. Now we have to figure out where this number would go. Would this 45 be between this 00 and 50, or between 50 and the 00? Well, 45 comes before 50, so 82,945 would come before 50, somewhere about there. We don't have to get the exact location. We just know it's on this side. Well, if it's on this side, is it closer to 82,900 or 83,000? Well, it's much closer. It's only 45 away from this one. It's 55 away from this one. So it's closer to this round number. And it's round because it has zeros at the end. It has those placeholders. Okay, another one. So the nearest 1,000. So we find our thousands place. We've got a 9 there. So our first, the thousands place below it would be 329,000. Round numbers, we have the zeros at the end. The next one up would be 10,000, but just like up here, we can't have two digits in one spot. So that other one regroups, and we get 330,000. So 900,000. And then this would be our, going up by one, that 10,000. Now we need to find our benchmark, our halfway or midpoint. Half of 1,000 is 500. So we put 329,500. That's our benchmark or midpoint. These are our end points, or our borders there, boundary points. Well, let's see. We have 736 that we're looking at. The front part compares to what would be on this number line, but where would this 736 be? Would it be between the 0 and 500, or 500 and these zeros? Well, 736 is greater than 500, so it would be on this side somewhere. So is it closer to 329,000 or 330,000? It is definitely closer to 330,000. So that's the closest, that's the nearest 1,000, nearest round number. Okay, so here we're looking at the 10,000s place. So we need to make sure we find the 10,000s place. We have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. That's what we're looking at. So our first one is 650,000. So basically we just take that number and have zeros behind it. And the next 10,000 after 50 is 60,000. So 660,000 is our other boundary point or endpoint. Now we need to find our midpoint, our halfway mark, as our benchmark. Half of 10,000 is 5,000. So this would be 655,000. So that's our benchmark, and we want to see which side this number falls on. So 4,072, is that going to be less than 5,000 or greater than this 5,000? Well, it's less than, so this number would be about here. And if it's about here, it's closer to 650,000 than it is to 660,000. So this is the closest 10,000. Okay, I'm going to do a little more practicing. I know this is a new way for you to round, but it's a very important concept and a great way to visualize what you're doing. Round 72,457 to the nearest 10,000. So ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. So this is the place we're rounding to. So the lower 10,000 is 70,000. The upper 10,000 would be 80,000. That's the next one up. And then our midpoint, halfway between these two, well, half of 10,000 is 5,000. So we get 75,000 as our benchmark. Well, 72,457, this 2,457 is less than 5,000, so it'd be over here. If it is over here, it is closer to 70,000. So if I round it to 70,000 because that's the one it's closer to. Okay, our next one. This one says to round to the nearest 1,000. So you got to make sure those keywords, because if I didn't see the 10 part here, I may have rounded it to the 1,000. Here it just says nearest 1,000. Or you could have stopped and rounded to the nearest 10. So you're answering a different question. Make sure you're answering the question asked. So the thousands place is right here. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. First one next to that comma. So here we have 99,000. And then up here we'd have 90,10,000, but there's no such thing as 90,10,000. We would just add 10 to this one. So the next 1,000 up is actually 100,000. Halfway between these two for our midpoint, well, half of 1,000 is 500. So we put 99,500. Now we want to see where 99,738 would go. Is this 738 less than this 500 or greater than this 500? It is greater. It's going to be on this side. So that means it is closer to being 1,000 than it is to being 99,000. I'm sorry, 100,000 than 99,000. I keep misspeaking today. So it's closer to being 100,000 than 99,000. So the nearest 1,000, if I round it, would be 100,000. Okay, our last one here. we're going to round to the nearest hundred thousands place. So we have our ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So we have 700,000 and 800,000. Halfway between 100,000 is 50,000, so the midpoint would be 750,000. So we want to figure out what part of the line 782,000 would go. Is this 82,053 less than the 50,000 or greater than the 50,000? It would be greater, so that means it's closer to 800. So the nearest round number in the 100,000s place would be 800,000. Okay, now it's time for your 3-column notes.